Okay, that was a little fun. Welcome to Friday Food Prep. This is Rose. So my preppers this week, we are gonna do roasted beets. Roasted beets are amazing, and it's the kind of thing that you see in a restaurant and you think, oh, this is so fancy. And it's really not that hard to make. You can make these in less than 10 minutes at home. And most people think of a beet as, oh, it tastes like dirt. I'm gonna get my hands all red. Oh, I just can't do it. I'm so helpless. No. I'm not only going to show you how to peel this little gem, but how to clean your hands when you're done so you don't have any stains on your hands. So hey, bonus, right? So let's get started. I want to show you that on my cutting board, I have a wet rag, and number one step, I moisten the surface of my cutting board because then the water gets in the pores before the beet juice does. So that way it's going to be easier to clean, but cleanup for this is super easy. Okay, so let's get this down here so you can see what I am doing. So here we are. I have 4 beets. We're going to cut them up into little cubes, and I'm also going to cut them up into slices because either way you can use them. They're super easy. I'm using my standard cutting knife. I'm going to top off. Okay, so now we got a nice flat beet. I'm gonna do this to all 4. Now, beets are so good for your liver. They help keep your liver clean. They give it nutrients. And another thing that beets are really good for is your heart, because beets are rich in nitrates. And nitrates are converted into nitrites in your heart. And so what? You don't need to remember that, but do remember that that means your heart will get nitric oxide as a result. And nitric oxide helps us to widen or open up, dilate, they will call it, your blood vessels, and that will improve your blood flow and improve your circulation. So remember that you should always try to include beets. So this is how we're going to get rid of the dirt taste. I'm not going to cook it with the skin on. You can, but that is always going to give you a more earthy feel. Hand peel my beets. Yeah, this means that I'm going to get some red juice on my fingers. Don't worry, we're going to get rid of that really pretty quickly. And so I hand peel it because if you try to use a peeler on this, then your peeler is going to slip because this is a really small roundish vegetable. I don't want you getting cut, and it really only takes a few seconds to hand peel. I used to watch my mom hand peel potatoes every single night. And so, ma'am, she could peel a potato super, super fast. I don't have quite that gift, and I want to go slow because, of course, whenever you're working with a knife, you got to be careful, right? So, we're halfway through almost, and you can see that when I'm done peeling, I have this beautiful beet left over, and it is packed with nutrition. Let us do the final 2. Now, beets are kind of an old school vegetable. When people had gardens, they used to grow a lot of root vegetables like turnips and carrots and cabbage. And actually, almost all of those foods are also high in nitrates, and nitrates are good for your heart. So there are reasons why our grandparents who grew up on the farm were so healthy, because they're getting this rich amount of nutrition from simple foods. And I'm telling you, when you start eating this way, you develop a taste for beets and carrots and cabbage, and it really is amazing how our bodies will adapt to the different flavors of different foods. And once we start feeding our body these foods, we start craving them because our bodies are so smart, and they will crave the food, the foods that have the nutrition they need. Okay, so you can see I'm kind of red here. I'm just gonna temporarily wipe it off with a paper towel, but don't worry, at the end I will be free of this, and you will too. So let me quickly rinse my knife here. All right, now I am going to cut it in half. This is another reason why we cut the bottom off. It makes it flat, so when you set it on your cutting board, it doesn't want to roll away. So make sure that at least one side of your beet is nice and flat. And now I'm going to cut these into slices, and you can see how thin they are. Okay, it takes seconds to cut up vegetables. It is only beets, olive oil, sea salt, and black pepper. And I always encourage you to get fresh peppercorns and grind them, because the ground pepper is not really a lot of black peppercorn. There's a lot of add-ins in there, a lot of mix-ins. I'm gonna take a bowl and I'm gonna put all my beets in here, all the sliced thin, and these are all the cubed ones. A tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I've worked with olive oil for so much of my life that I just know the amounts to drizzle. 1 tablespoon is about 1 turn in a pan. A half a teaspoon of sea salt, and I use Himalayan sea salt. Ground black peppercorn. All right, now that looks pretty simple, right? Olive oil, beets, salt, and pepper. I'm telling you, that is all it is. Now we're gonna mix them all together. You really wanna get the olive oil on all of your beets. I'm going to roast my beets in an air fryer. In an air fryer, we're gonna go 380 degrees for 5 minutes. Here's the tray for my air fryer. I'm gonna close it, you're gonna hear it beep, and then I'm gonna turn it on, and I'm going to just put it on air fry for 380 for 5 minutes. And start. So they're running right now, and they will turn out delicious, and I'm gonna show you what they look like when you're all done. Okay, and these little beauties were in there for about 5 minutes, and that's it. They're a little bit of a crunch, and they're so soft. They have a good texture. The salt and just the natural flavor of the beet is like wow in your mouth. So totally recommend. Take that couple minutes, slice up those beets. So now you're wondering, what about these fingers? I am going to get my hands wet, sprinkle it with my friend baking soda. I just have a bowl of water here, and you can see my hands are red. It's not like I'm like sneaking off camera and having my twin come in here. And I just sprinkled some baking soda on my fingers, and I'm gonna rub it in, make sure I get all the way. Now I'm gonna rinse. Now let me show you my hands. Remember how red they were? They look fine, and it's not going to ruin any manicure that you might have. Now I'm going to do the same treatment to my cutting board, and then my cleanup is done. So not only is it quick and easy, it is something that doesn't create a huge mess in your kitchen. It's not going to leave you with stained hands, and it's going to give you like an amazing side dish for your dinner. Your family's gonna go like, where did you learn how to cook? All right, so that's it for today. So join me next Friday for Friday Food Prep at noon.